They say blood is thicker than water, but in the world of power, even blood has a price. The night was drenched in rain, lightning flashing across the glass towers of Manhattan. Inside one of those towers stood Adrian Hale, a man who owned half the city but had lost something money could never buy. His reflection stared back from the window, older, colder, emptier. In his glass of whiskey he saw a ghost, the face of the brother he once betrayed. 7 years earlier, Adrian and Lucas were the golden sons of Richard Hale, a self-made billionaire who believed that love was weakness and power was survival. Adrian, the elder, was everything his father wanted: brilliant, disciplined, ruthless. Lucas was the dreamer, creative, kind, a man who still believed people mattered more than profit. Their father used to say, "Empires are built with fire, not feelings." Adrian inherited the fire. Lucas inherited the heart. When their father died unexpectedly, the empire was supposed to be split equally between them. But power is a disease, and Adrian had already caught it. The night before the will was read, he called a private lawyer, changed a few signatures, and rewrote destiny. By morning, Lucas's name was gone from the company, erased like he never existed. Lucas came to Adrian's office that same night, soaked from the rain, his voice trembling between anger and disbelief. "You took everything from me." Adrian didn't even look up. "This is business, Lucas. You were never built for this world." Lucas stared at him for a long moment and then whispered, "One day, you'll see what I was built for." He left that night. No one saw him again. Years passed. Hale Industries became unstoppable. Adrian's empire stretched from Wall Street to Silicon Valley. His face was on magazines, his words quoted in speeches. To the world, he was untouchable. But inside, he was haunted. Because when you destroy family for fortune, the ghosts never really leave. Then one morning, something changed. A new company appeared, Novacorp. Young, unpredictable, dangerously smart. Within months, they began taking everything Hale owned: contracts, clients, influence. Their marketing was bolder. Their strategies were flawless. They didn't compete with Adrian. They outplayed him. And then came the first message. A silver envelope, no name, no sender. Inside was a single black card with 3 words engraved in gold: "Time for payback." Adrian's hand shook for the first time in years. That night he couldn't sleep. Every sound in the dark felt like a whisper from the past. Weeks later, at a charity gala, the city's richest gathered under chandeliers and lies. Adrian moved through the crowd like a king, until his eyes caught a man at the bar. A man with familiar eyes and a scar across his cheek. Lucas. He was alive. For a long second, neither spoke. The world around them blurred into silence. Then Lucas smiled, slow, deliberate. "You always did underestimate me, brother." Adrian's voice cracked. "What do you want from me?" Lucas leaned closer. "Nothing you haven't already taken." From that night it began, the quietest, coldest war the city had ever seen. Lucas had spent 7 years studying the game his brother played. He knew the system, the loopholes, the shadows. He'd built Novacorp not for profit but for destruction. Every deal Hale made, Lucas countered. Every investor Adrian trusted, Lucas bought. Within months, Hale Industries began to crumble. Adrian tried everything: lawyers, media, power plays, but every move he made was already predicted. Lucas had learned from the best and from Adrian himself. Revenge wasn't coming. It was already here. One night, as Hale Tower went dark from a system breach, Adrian stood in his office, the city flickering below. The door opened. Lucas walked in. No bodyguards. No threats. Just silence. Adrian whispered, "You won. Congratulations." Lucas smiled faintly. "You think this was about winning?" He stepped closer, eyes burning with grief more than rage. "You took my name, my life. You turned me into a ghost, so I decided to haunt you, the same way you haunted me." Adrian's voice softened for the first time. "I did what I had to. Dad wanted strength." Lucas's eyes glistened. "And I wanted a brother." The room went quiet. Rain pattered against the glass. For a second, it felt like the world could stop, like they could undo the past. But some wounds run too deep. Lucas placed a folder on the table. "Tomorrow morning, your empire collapses. Every lie, every deal, every signature, and it all burns at once." Adrian didn't move. "And what about you?" Lucas looked down. I stopped existing the night you betrayed me." As he turned to leave, Adrian called out, voice shaking, "Lucas, after all this, do you still hate me?" Lucas paused at the door. His voice was calm and almost broken. "No, brother. I just became you." The next morning, the world watched as Hale Industries fell apart. Lawsuits, arrests, headlines. Everything Adrian built turned to ash. And that same night, a report flashed across the news. Novacorp CEO Lucas Hale found dead in his apartment. Apparent suicide. Adrian dropped his glass. His hands trembled. The man who had taken everything from him had also taken himself. He went to Lucas's old apartment, the same one the police had just cleared. On the table, he found one last letter. It read, "We both built our empires on betrayal. Yours made you powerful. Mine made me empty. You can keep the empire now, Adrian. I never wanted it. I just wanted you to feel what I felt." Lucas. That night, Adrian stood on the balcony of his tower, the city lights flickering beneath him. The rain returned, the same rain from 7 years ago. He whispered to the sky, voice barely audible, "You won, little brother." And then he looked down, at the reflection of his own empire collapsing below, and smiled. Because in the end, the payback room had one rule: no one truly wins. Everyone pays.